morning, everyone. My name is Octavio Vargas, and I am here with my friend and colleague Josue Sanchez. And especially, I wanted to say thank you very much for the opportunity to be here with you and to tell you that during this morning, we are going to present to you this workshop, which is called the project-based learning. Okay, so for us, is this approach, this specifically approach, is very useful in our teaching lessons. Okay, so we are very excited of being here, and I hope that you guys liked and find this workshop very usable for your classes and your teacher work. Okay, so enjoy. Okie dokie. So this workshop is divided in two stages. We are going to start working with me a little bit about the what the project-based learning is and some of the stages and the framework and all the other kind of information. And later, my friend Josue is going to present to you a proposal to use on your classes with a specific app that will help you to develop this proposal so you can put on practice the project-based learning in your teaching classes, okay? So let's start by this question. What is the project-based learning? Okay, so project-based learning is a approach which students learn through a project. Okay, most of the time, this project it takes time. Okay, this is not like a project that you're going to do in one afternoon or in one class. No, it has to be like the whole course. Okay, that is the idea of this project-based learning. Okay, during this process, the student will increase their linguistic skills, vocabulary, and grammar. Okay, there's a lot of aspects that you have to take into consideration to put on this specific project. So it's going to be very usable for you and your students at the end of the course. All right. So this particular approach is very useful also with those courses that it has one particular aspect on evaluation that is called like a project, because in that way the teacher when it starts the semester, for example, uh, that the teacher can already design what the project is going to be, and then the students will start working since the beginning of the semester, and at the end of the semester they will have a very good product and a very good project. Okay, so I consider that this approach it will be very usable in our classes. Okay, so as I said before, the project-based learning is a way where or an approach where pedagogical approach where the students learn through a, a long period of time project. All right. So it's very interesting, is very good, is very interactive with the students. And let's learn a little bit more about it. Okay. This is what I am presenting to you right now is the framework of the PBL, which is another way how to call the project-based learning. Okay, but this specific framework is specifically for EFL classes. Okay, English as a foreign language. Okay, this specific framework was designed by Jean-Marie Gordon Darosa. Okay, and I consider, on my opinion, that this is very clear and explains very well all the steps that we have to follow in order to have a successful project at the end of the semester. Okay, and of course, which is very important, a successful learning process. Okay, so right here you can see the framework. This framework is divided in 7 different stages. You can see every stage there. And let me tell you that these stages are located in a chronological way in this framework. Okay? So it means that we have to complete one in order to follow to the next one. Okay? And another important aspect on this framework is that you can see that all these stages are located in a position that they have contact with the subject, or in our case, with the language. Okay? And also you can see how the teacher's participation is presented in the process of the framework, okay? But as an outside, okay? Like a guide, like somebody monitoring the project, okay? And also, the most important aspect here is in the center of the framework. We have the student right there, okay? And that is the most important aspect, okay? So what it means here, that the student take part in all the process, okay? So the student says, okay, this is my project, okay? So the project belongs to the student, all right? And that is great, okay? So this is the framework. Now, I am going to explain to you every one of these stages so you have a clear idea of how you can develop a PBL activity or PBL approach on your classes. Okay, let me see. I am going to continue having the framework next to it so we can follow it. All right, so let's start with the number one, generate and stimulate. Okay, very important. That's the first one. Okay, so what do we do here? Well, we as a teachers, what we have to do is to uh, start the engine by creating or motivating our students. Okay, so what do we have to do? Well, we have to know our students, try to learn a little bit about them. What do they like? What they are interested on, okay? What things call their attention. So once you know your students a little bit more, then you can come up with topics for your project. So, okay, so if you come up with something that your students like, because remember, as I said to you before, this project belongs to the students. It's not your project. It's your students' project. So the project has to be about something that they like, about something that they are interested on. Okay. So please think about that before you select the topic. Okay. After you select the topic, then we go with the driving question. Okay. Define and refine. Okay. So what do we do here? Well, we as a teacher, we have to come up with a driving question, with a question that that it really starts the engine on our students. Like says, oh, you know what? Yeah, that is interesting. I would like to know. Or you need to have that sensation that your students have that faces as, oh, you know what? That is interesting. I would like to know more about that. Okay. And remember, this question, it has to be answered at the end of the journey. So the students need to follow all these steps of the framework in order to get to the product. And that product will be the answer to that question. So for that reason, the question cannot be a simple question that you can find the answer by Google, for example. Okay, so make sure that when you design the question of the project, then it cannot be answered just by searching on the net. Okay, now in the step number 3, it says design and collaborate. This stage is very important. Okay, so once you have the driving question, you have to help your students in order to get the goals. Okay, make sure that the goals of the project are designed by taking into consideration the SMART principle. In other words, the goals have to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. All right. So it means that these important principles have to be on the goals. Okay. So make sure that the goals that your students and you design for the project are are based on these five principles. And please, you can design the goals. Yeah, the teacher can design the goals in order to help their students, but it's important to involve the students into the process of designing the project. Okay, so involve your students in designing the task and the activities that they have to do. Okay, so once you finish with this, your students have collaborate on designing the tasks and the activities, and that way makes the student feel part of the project. He says, okay, this is my project because we are going to do some things that I suggest. Okay, so in that way, the students will feel part of the project. Okay, so in that way, we already have the design of the project, okay? And we are going to move to the step number 4. The step number 4 is says compare and share. Okay, once the students already design the activities and the tasks along with the teacher, they are going to start working on those activities. And they are going to start uh, developing and working and getting knowledge and practicing skills and doing a lot of work, okay? But we have another stage that is called compare and share. What is this part? Well, you as a teacher, you can ask your students to go to another group and to look at the project that other students are doing and to give them feedback. And you have to teach your students how to receive feedback from their peers. And that is amazing. Okay, that is very good. That is something really important. Once your students learn how to receive feedback from my peers and how to put on practice the feedback on my project, that will be a very good way of learning. Okay, and of course, you are going to be giving feedback and input to your students. Okay, so imagine this situation. Your students already compare and share their project, okay, with other peers. They are receiving input and feedback from peers and from their teacher as well. All right, and they have been completing the task and the activities that they already designed. Okay, so by that moment, we are going to move to the next stage. Enhance and advance. What is this stage called? Well, after all that process that we mentioned before in compare and share stage, now the students have completely control over the knowledge that they already have. Okay, but now they have more, they had acquired more knowledge, they have practiced more skills. Why? Because they have received feedback, they have received input from teacher, from classmates, from peers. Okay, so that will help our students to increase their knowledge. Okay, so now they have moved on to another stage, to another level. Okay, why? Because thanks to the project, thanks to the activities that they complete, thanks to the tasks that they developed, thanks to the input that they receive by their peers, thanks to the feedback that they receive by the teacher, the knowledge and the control that they have, it's now better. Okay, the knowledge that they have now, it's more, and the control that they have over the linguistic skills, it's much better than when they start the project. Okay. Now, the other stage is also very important. Review and revise. For me as a teacher, this is very important and also very exciting. It's very exciting. Why? Because you are going to develop now the critical thinking on your students. And we both know that that is very important, especially when you're learning a second language, right? So, what do? You ask your students to look at their work again and try to make them think, hey, is there another way you can do this? Is there another way you can say this? Is there another way? Can you do this better? I like this. Do you think is another way to do it or do it better? Then the student says, oh my God, yeah, you're right. Oh, there's a way we can do this better. Oh, you know what? We can improve this if we do this and that and that. So in that way, the students start being critical. Okay, so they start thinking in a more critical way and they start to improve their work. Okay, and that is nice. That is something very important. Just okay, I like how to do it, but I just think that we can do it better. Okay, so what it means? They moving to another stage. They're moving on. Okay, and it's very important and very necessary for them, and of course motivated. Okay, and finally, the last stage is produce and present. Produce and present. So that is the final stage. And what is it? That's where the student present the product, okay? When they present the product. And remember, that product, if we go back in the journey and we go to the stage number 2, let's remember that there was a driving question right there, okay? So the product presented in this stage has to answer that particular question, all right? And how the students present this product, it can be many different ways. It can be a PowerPoint presentation, it can be a poster presentation, or they can find different ways how to do it. All right. But the thing is that right there, the students have to have the ability to respond that driving question. But let's remember something really important and something that always people say is not the product all that is the main important aspect here. No, no, no. It's the journey that they follow in order, or that they took in order to come up with this product. Okay, so yeah, the product is great, and responding to a drive question, it means that it was very nice, and the student will be very happy. But you, as a teacher, you know that they learn a lot through the journey in order to get to that product. Okay, so that's what it matters, right? So this is the framework. This is the framework of project-based learning. It's also important. It's also important to know that everything is related to the student. Okay, they are the center of the project. The project belongs to them. Okay, so they have to feel part of this project and they have to be part of all the process. Okay, so it's important for you to monitor it. Okay, and that is the role of the teacher, to monitor all the process, to make sure who's working a lot, who's not doing a lot of stuff. Okay, so the way you can motivate the one, control the ones that are going very high, and try to improve the others. Okay, so that is our part during this process. That is our role. Okay, to make sure that everybody's working, to make sure that everybody's learning, to make sure that everybody is doing something to be part of this project. Okay, because this can be very linguistic for you, but also can be very emotional for them. And when I say them, I'm referring to the students, of course. Okay, so this is the project-based learning approach. Okay, and I hope that after listening to this explanation, you might have a very clear idea, or probably you are just thinking of ways, how can I put this on practice in my classes? Or probably you are, I have an idea right now, So that will be great for us. Now, as I told you at the beginning, we have also a proposal for you guys, okay? Because it's not just talking about it, but it's also giving you an example, okay? So right now, my friend and colleague Josue is going to present to you a proposal of how to use this PDL approach on your English classes, okay? So right now, I left you with Josue, and you are going to be working with him now on, okay? So, Josue Sanchez.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Octavio, for your explanation. Yes, we're going to talk about Flipgrid because it's really related to the PBL. Okay. And as Octavio has said, a PBL is a teaching method in which students gain knowledge and skills by working for an extended period of time to investigate and respond to an authentic, engaging, and complex questions, problem, or challenge. Okay, that's why Filbert is very linked to this method because it gives us the opportunity, it provides this scenario where students can learn through the PBL method. Okay, so I'm going to show you how it works. But first of all, we can say that Filbert is a social learning platform. So where it allows teachers and students to interact through video. Right now is an app that I have been using very much because of the context we are working during the pandemic where we cannot see each other physically. So we have to use platform, we have to use Zoom, we have to use a WhatsApp, we have to use all these tools that we have at hand. So Flipgrid is one of those because it allows, as it says, teachers and students to interact through audio. In my experience, they love to record themselves. Some of them they are not like very much into it because they are shy or because they don't like to to record themselves because X or Y reason. So, but most of them they like to do it, and eventually they do it. Maybe at the beginning they are like not eager to do it, but with the time and uh, with the practice, they eventually gonna do it. In my experience, I can tell you that. Okay, so it's very interactive, and that's something we're looking for right now in this context. Also, the Fieldgrid facilitates conversation and oral practice of language because, for example, we can have like grids, which is because it's called Fieldgrid. So we have like grids where we can provide a question, where we can provide an assignment, and they are going to record themselves answering that question and resolving that problem and asking another people something about what they have said before. So it provides like a large variety of opportunities of speaking. So that's why we say that it facilitates conversation and oral practice of language. Another thing that we like to say is that students can communicate synchronously and asynchronously. Okay, it's something we can do it live, like live. I mean, we can do like an exercise that it has to be done right now. So we are going to watch videos at the minute live, and also we can have it like an assignment as a homework. We can say, okay, kids, we're going to answer these questions on Flipgrid. So make a video and answer the questions and answer to another partner's comment or answer or give a question or give some follow-up questions to a partner that has done a video before you. So we can do it like that. So it works live and asynchronously too. So it has that flexibility. So that's something good when we are working with Flipgrid. And also, I forgot to tell you, or that Flipgrid we can use it in the browser. I mean, we can use it on Chrome, on Firefox, on Edge, whatever browser you use, or we can also download the app. So we can use it on our cell phones or in our tablets. So since everybody has a cell phone right now, I mean, I really like to think that everybody has a cell phone because in my experience, almost nobody has no cell phone. So I think that is very easy to use. Even we don't have that access to internet because I mean there are places where we have free Wi-Fi, so students can go there and do their homeworks. And also we can there are parks, also centros universitarios. They have some uh, facilities where they can use the Wi-Fi network. So I think it's pretty easy to use. Okay, so another thing is that it also makes possible an exchange with another school or with external collaborators. It's because when we are doing the grid, we can allow and we can give permissions to everybody, to another person from another organization, from another university. They can come to our grid virtually. They can come to our grid virtually and see what we are doing. So we can have like feedback from other teachers. So for example, if I'm working with Octavio and I'm going to do a grid. So I'm going to ask Octavio to come to our grid and to see our videos and to give feedback to students and to have interaction with them. We can do it as well. So that's also a tool that it can be used, and it's also very helpful to the students because they are going to have in that case they're going to have my feedback and they're going to have Octavio's feedback. So we can have like a very nice combination of feedbacks that are going to help our students to grow. Okay, so that's something that also is very important. Also, you can set a maximum duration time. I mean, for example, if your students are not they are beginners, so we can set a minimum time of 30 seconds, 1 minute, depending on the teacher. It's up to you. If we want them to spend like more time working with the app, so we can set the 10, 5 minutes. We can set a minimum and a maximum time of video. Okay, because in that way we can control how much they are going to talk. That's something also very good. Then we can promote the feeling of community and group because right now that we are working with in the virtual world, it's kind of difficult to know each other. So, for example, I have had group where they don't see each other. I mean, the peers they don't see each other. So with Flipgrid, they can at least see the face of their partners, and in that way we can decrease like the way we don't see each other. I mean, because at least in the virtual world we're going to see each other. So we're going to meet my friend or we're going to meet our partners that are working with me in the Zoom chat, in the WebEx room. So we can like at least see each other in that way. So we can have like some kind of social interaction there, even when we know it's not the same as being in the classroom, right? But at least we can like have that interaction with the students and create some kind of community. Okay, so that's something we can do it with a Flipgrid. Also, another thing using Flipgrid is that it develops students' ability to express themselves. I mean, when we have the opportunity to record ourselves and speak, we are like creating an environment where they can express themselves, where they can see their opinion. When I have grades asking for responding a question, and that question provides some interaction, provides some background, where they have to research, where they have to see, where they have to watch videos, where they have to investigate. So we are promoting those expressions and those. Uh, we are providing that environment where they have to investigate and stand for an opinion. So that develops the student's ability to express themselves. And that's something very good when we have the ability to speak up, okay? Because we don't want the student like to be quiet all the time and just receive information, receive input, and they don't have nothing to express. So with Figure, we have the opportunity to provide an environment, to provide a stage where they can express and they can say their opinions and they can speak up where about something they like or they don't like, depending on the question you're working with. Okay. Also, it can help the evaluation of an activity because in the field grid we have the chance to make rubrics. Okay, we have the chance to make rubrics, and that's something we have to be aware of because it's a very important tool if we are evaluating a speaking task, for example. So we have the chance and we have the opportunity to create a rubric where it's going to help us in order to provide feedback and to provide a grade. So it has also that feature, which is very important when evaluating. Also, it provides the possibility of giving feedback in the same app. I mean, as I told you before, you don't have to create another app or another paperwork to evaluate them, because in the app you have the opportunity to give the grade. Okay. Also, it increased your possibilities of analysis on the subject of of each grade, since the students give their opinion from their particular perspective. Okay, because for example, you can ask a question about any topic, any subject, because you know that English is overcomes and many. I mean, it has to do with a lot of topics, even in science, social studies. So yeah, the idea when we have an app like this is to students to make them speak. So in that way, you're going to create the opportunities, you're going to create the possibilities of make your students speak, and you have the chance to see, to analyze how they are progressing in your class. Because since it is a video, you can go back and forward the recording. So you have the chance to listen and to listen again and analyze how they are going and how they are progressing in your subject, in your course. So that's something we can do it also on Flipgrid. And that's something very good because sometimes when we are like in the physical class, in the face-to-face class, and we are the evaluating them orally, you have the chance to listen to them, but sometimes you don't listen a word very well, or you don't listen to a pronunciation very well. So in Flipgrid, you have the chance to rewind and forward the recording. So you have the chance to re-listen any pronunciation that you have dealt with. And also, students are empowered by giving them a voice. So that's something also very important. I mean, if they have the chance to make a video and saying an answer and giving an opinion, you are giving them a voice, and that's something very important. I mean, we are not like in a dictatorship where they are only listening and doing what you say. So you are giving them a voice. So that's something very important here because they have the chance to express, to give an opinion. That's also very important when we are teaching not only English, when we are teaching any other subjects. Giving them a choice to speak. Okay. Then we have a something that you can do with on Flipgrid. You can review books, series, or movies. So, for example, picture the activity where you are like reading a book. So you have the chance to make questions about that book, and they are going to record themselves answering that question, and the students are going to respond to other partners' videos. So you can have like a very long grid with full of valuable opinions about books, about series, about movies, depending on what you're studying. So that's something we can do on favorite review of books. Also, we can have like a history chain where the students should pick up where the last classmate who recorded a video left off. So, for example, in that case, the first partner or the first student are going to say um, the beginning of a story, and the second partner who makes the video have to continue that story. So we're going to create a history chain very long, depending on the group. So I'm very funny sometimes. I'm very very nice to hear because they're going to express and they're going to create a story and they're going to use the language and they're going to practice English, and that's pretty much the idea, to practice the language, to practice English. So with Flipgrid, they're going to do it. Also, we can have like a forum of doubt, which can be resolved by the teacher of the rest of the classmates. So you can have a grid. I don't know if you have like a final project, just so you can have a grid and ask them to make any question they have regarding that project. So they can make the video, and another partner who knows the answer are going to record another video responding that question, or the teacher can make a video responding to that question. So another person who has that same doubt are going to watch the video and not going to ask the same question because it was already answered. So we can work with forms of doubts too. Also, that you can recite poems or sing maybe a karaoke. So the possibilities are big using the app. Also, you can have like an exercise of language activities, so you can show them exercises or language activities also in Flipgrid. And you can have you can play collaborative games like chain, word, or riddles. So that's something we can work on. For example, you can record yourself and saying a riddle, and they're going to record themselves answering that riddle or giving a possible answer for that riddle. So that would be very funny. And at the end, also they're going to practice the language, which is pretty much the idea here. Also, you can have mini interviews to create television programs, even with different channels. Also, they can have like TV shows. I mean, if they are very creative and they are allowed to work with another partners, we can have like mini interviews to or create a television program. Okay, so those are some activities we can use Flipgrid for. Also, but you can have like a lot of possibilities. Just those were just suggestions. Okay, another benefits or pluses using a Flipgrid. It works on a smartphone or computer. I mean, as I told you before, if you are working with a smartphone, you just go to Play Store or the App Store and you download it. It is free. In the past, it used to cost some money, like $65 per year, but right now Microsoft is has giving it for free. So now it works with a for free. You don't have to pay anything. And if you're using with a computer, you can have like the chance to just go to flipgrid.com, log in, and you can use it in your browser. You don't have to download any other software for your computer. Also, it has integration with Teams, Remind, and Google. So if you are working with Teams, you don't have any problems with the link. So you have a link with Teams and Flipgrid because they both are from Microsoft. Also, you have a connection with Remind. So any Flipgrid any grid that you are creating, you can send a link to Remind. And if you have Remind with your kids, with your students, they're going to receive right away the grid. Or Google, you can log in with Google. It's very easy. Also, a video includes editing, so it's something very good since students love to work with the stickers, to work with frames, to work with all this. So they have the tools about editing. So you can add hearts, stickers, sound, frames, etc. So it's not just the camera; it has a lot of features there. Also, it's versatile and easy to use interface. As I told you at the beginning, Flipgrid is very easy to use, so students are not going to have any trouble working with it, at least in my experience. So also very important, privacy is adjustable. I mean, if you're using a grid, you are going to be sure that students are not going to be like in the public. I mean, people from another class or from another platform, then they don't have access to your grades. I mean, at least if you give them access, I mean, that would be up to you. But uh, per se, they are private. Okay, that's something that we have to take into consideration. And also, it is secure. As I told you before, it's not easy to hack. I mean, I don't have the experience of being hacked in Flipgrid so far. So I think it's very, very, very safe to use. Also, it's light. I mean, the cell phone, it doesn't take a lot of memory from the cell phone. And in the computer, as I told you before, it's not necessary to download any software. So just the browser and that's it. So you don't have to delete some files in order to install them. So just use it in the browser in the computer or download it to your cell phone. And it's very light. It doesn't take too much memory. Also, it's a social network. So as many students, they have Facebook, Instagram, uh, and other platforms, and other social network sites. So this is going to be very easy for them to use Flipgrid. Okay, and it is free. It is free. You don't have to pay anything. In the past, it cost $65, but right now it is free. So that's something very important to say. Okay, now I'm going to give you some demonstration. Okay, so this is my browser, and we just go to the website, which is flipgrid.com, and we have the website here. So as an educator, we have to sign up here. We can do it with a Google account or with a Microsoft. If you have a UNED or UCR or any other university that works with a 365, it's gonna work here in the Microsoft sign up, or you can use just the regular Google account. Okay, in my case, I use my Google account, so I'm going to check it here, and it goes directly to my my grid. Okay, so when we're going to create a grid, we just have to create here a group. So if you're working with your personal, I don't know, any group that you have, so you have the group name here, you have the active, you have the permissions to work with. So if you want to add students with using the email or with a username or Google Classroom, then if you want notifications, you click on here. So that's how you create a group. Okay, once you have a group like this, so this is mine, we're going to create a topic. So here, I'm going to create a topic. So for example, let's say that you are I don't know, that you are working with a movie. So let's see that you have seen The Great Gatsby. Okay, so you're going to talk about The Great Gatsby and the prompt. Okay, so let's ask a question to start the discussion. So let's say, what's the moral? Just an example. What's the moral of this story? I don't know, just an example. What's the moral of the story? And we can add media here. You can add a record a video. You can upload a video. You can add a video from YouTube or Vimeo, and you can upload an image or using a Giphy or an emoji, or going to Microsoft, Google, Bitmoji, Kahoot, Wakelet, Nearpod, Nicela, Spark, Wenderopolis, or even Bouncy. So I always like to add a Giphy. So I just look for it here. Let's see, Gatsby, and let's see how it goes. So you have emojis or Giphies from the movie. So let's use this one. Okay, and then you just add it, you select it and add it. And here you already have like the prompt, the title, and the media you are going to use. Also, you can click on here and see all of them. Then you have the permissions. The permissions are very important because the it gives like the topic moderation. I mean, if you want to moderate the topic, so it you have to take into account that all public topics are moderated. So if it is public, you have to moderate it. If you add students using their emails, you can unselect this one. But if since it is public, I cannot change it. So if you want to not moderate the topics, you will have to add the students using their emails. Okay, and here you can select the recording time, 1 minute, 2 minutes, even let me see, as 10 minutes. You can say that's something to take into consideration also. Also, you can see if you want them to allow comments with video or text, video comments only, text comments only, or none, no comments. Okay, and also you can have the closed captions. I mean, if you want them to appear, or you can just turn it off. Sometimes I want them to, I, I mean, I allowed some titles sometimes, just in case that the students they like to see, I mean, what they are saying. It is the closed caption. I mean, the closed caption gives them like the correct word. I mean, so in that case, they can check pronunciation, for example. Or you can turn it off if it is Spanish, French, Italian, Japanese, Portuguese. I mean, it's not just English. Okay, so you can create a topic, or also you can go with essentials here. You can have more options. So you can add an attachment if you want to see an attachment. If you want to have like a scheduled status, so after one date, it is not any longer available to upload any videos. In notifications, if you want a daily notifications with the records and the videos, it shouldn't have uploaded. Also, the very responses allow filters or stickers, so you can allow that here. If you want them to do trimming, deleting, and rearranging for video clips. Also, you can have the video counts if you want them to give them likes or not. If it is downloadable or shareable, you can have, or you can turn on or turn off that here. Okay. Also, you have the feedback here, the rubrics. You can use a basic feedback or a custom feedback. You can create that here. You can add criterias. So in this space, in this option, you can create the rubrics. That's also very important if you want them to like to have an evaluation about it. And once you are ready with this, you create a topic, and they give you a code, which is this. So which is the code is these letters and numbers here. So that's the code you're going to share with the students, okay? So I'm going to copy this, and it is all set, okay? So with that code, let me show you, let's see if it is working here. I'm going to log out. I'm going to the flipgrid.com again. And here it says enter the code. So I'm going to click here, and we're going to go to that grid. Okay, so as a student, I'm going to be asked to join with Google or join with Microsoft. Okay, so they will use a Google account or a Microsoft. So once they log in using the Google or Microsoft account, they're going to be able to record and to make their response. Okay, so that would be my presentation about Flipgrid. I hope that you consider this app. I think it's a great tool. I think it's a great opportunity to use it in the PBL or in any other method because students they love to use it in my experience. So I think it's going to be like a great opportunity to discover the Flipgrid app and to explore more possibilities. Okay, so thank you very much. Bye.